Alright, family. It's your boy Alkaline Sunny back with another live. Whoa, bro, back up. I wanted to bring y'all live today. I want to talk about a few things. Uh, excuse the interruption. Right. So let's get started. Um, Today I wanted to talk about a few things that I've been really thinking about. Right. Um, some things I had in mind that I wanted to discuss. Right. I wanted to talk about what Dr. Sebi referred to when he talks about the 102 minerals that the body's made up of, right? Dr. Sebi refers to the first 102 elements on the periodic table, or he was referring to a combination of elements, single minerals, and compound minerals, right? The body's made up of 102 minerals. So, what was Dr. Sebi talking about when he was talking about 102? He was talking about the body being made up of those 102 minerals, right? Is he referring to the 102 elements on the periodic table, or is he referring to a combination of elements, single minerals, and compound minerals, right? Uh, just to give you some insight, there are 118 elements listed on the periodic table, but not all occur naturally. Only 1 through 92 elements are naturally occurring, except for 43 and 61. 43 and 61 have short half-life. This is why they are not found naturally on Earth. 43 has been detected in stars. All elements past 92 uranium haven't been found on Earth and are made in a lab. You understand me? To support the idea that Sebi referred to a single element when he spoke about 102 minerals, look at the nutrient breakdown of food, right? Mineral breakdowns are provided for many foods, and the mineral content always consists. The mineral content always consists of elements like magnesium, right? Like phosphorus, copper, and iron, right? And let's not forget calcium. You understand me? Uh, there are 118 elements listed on the periodic table, but not all of them are naturally occurring. You understand me? Not all of them are naturally occurring, and those are made in a lab, right? So that's really important. That's really important. Why is this really important? That's really important because when we think about the periodic table of elements, we think that all those elements on that table are found within the body, or we think that all those elements in that table are naturally occurring, and that that's the opposite. That's the opposite, right? Not all, not all elements Not all elements Dr. Sebi refers to as minerals, 102 minerals. Excuse me. Not all elements on the periodic table is found naturally or occurs naturally. You know what I mean? So that being said, what's with all this confusion, right? Um, right. 102 minerals. The body's made up of 102 minerals, right? When we when we uh when we're referring to we're referring to calcium and phosphorus is also included, if I'm not mistaken. The bones are made up of calcium, the mineral calcium. Calcium can be found in the periodic table, but like I mentioned, not all elements or minerals found on the periodic table are naturally occurring. That being said, you can't find those in your body or occurring naturally, right? Um, what else did I wanted to say? Um, there's some things I also want to touch on that I got right here. I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna break it down for those who just now joining. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and hit that subscribe. It'll really help the algorithm, right? So according to this book, I like to bring this. I like to shed light to this point right here. When we're dealing with acids and bases, or when we're dealing with acids and alkaline, um, it says we know that an acid is a water-based liquid compound that forms a positively charged hydrogen ion in water. Acids react strongly with active metals. An acid is sour and is often corrosive. Acids in the human body include hydrochloric acid in the gastric juices, uric acid in urine, and lactic acid in muscles. What does this mean? I feel like this confuses people. Bases. This is what it says for bases. It says bases is a water-based liquid compound. So that means acid and bases are both water-based liquid compounds. Bases form a negatively charged hydroxide ion in water. So it said that acids form positively charged hydrogen ions in water, and bases form negatively charged hydroxide ions in water. Both are water-based liquid compounds that form. Okay. Bases taste bitter. Okay. Feels slippery. Right. Some bases include ammonia. It says anything with a chemical name that ends with the word hydroxide. And baking soda. Okay. We said acids in the human body include hydrochloric acid in gastric juices, uric acid in urine, and lactic acid in muscles. Did we mention that? Hmm. Okay. So, what do we see here? What do we see here? Okay, we see that bases. Bases. What's the word? What's another word? What's another word for bases? We know that another word for bases is alkaline. So we're dealing with acids and alkaline, acidity and alkalinity, right? Bases are alkaline and acid. We know what acid is. Acid is acid. Bases is alkaline, acid is acid, right? So what are some what are some acids that we can name off the top of our heads? We mentioned that in the human body, acid is found within the hydrochloric acid and gastric juices. What have we mentioned in the past? We mentioned that the stomach has its own environment, right? And acid, hydrochloric acid, gastric juices, um, tend to have an acidic environment, right? Uric acid and urine. Uric acid are waste products, right? So your urine can be acidic. Your urine can be dirty, right? We know that uh, by seeing that, you find uric acid in urine. Lactic acid in muscles. What creates lactic acid? If I'm not mistaken, it's the deprivation of oxygen. When when the muscles have when the muscles run out of oxygen, oxygen levels decrease, and that's where lactic acid comes from. Hmm. Acids and bases. So what are some alkaline? What are some? Were we naming some of the acids that we know? What are some other acids that we know? Well, we know milk is acidic, so milk can be considered acid. Dairy is considered milk. Um, this is one other thing that I want to mention. When we dealing with acids and bases or acids and alkaline, we know that we can measure the relative strength of acids and alkaline using a scale, a pH scale, right? The the pH scale measures hydrogen ion concentration in liquid compounds. Okay, the pH scale ranges from 0 to 14, 7 being my nose. Anything to the right of 7 being neutral, is alkaline. Anything to the left of 7 is acidic, right? Using a scale from 0 to 14, okay? The midpoint, pH, 7. Okay, we already said that. 7 being neutral, okay? A pH value higher than 7 to the right of 7 is basic, right? We said that is alkaline. Anything to the right of 7 is alkaline. And anything less than 7 to the left of 7 is acidic. We measure the relative strength. We measure the strength of acid and alkaline using a pH scale. All right, family. The scale, what does the scale measure? The scale measures hydrogen ion concentration in liquid compounds. Why is this important? I'm going to tell you why it's important in a second. Let me finish this point. So anything to the left of 7 or less than 7 is acidic. Okay. What does this mean? This means that anything to the right of 7, the higher the value, the more alkaline it's going to be. Or basic. I like to use the word alkaline. I don't know why they like to use the word basic. I think it's just to confuse you. The compound is so the higher the value on the pH scale to the right of 7, the more alkaline the compound is. Compounds are just single element minerals combined, right? That's a compound. So when you combine, say for example, we have hydrogen 2 hydrogen, and 1 oxygen. We know that a hydrogen and we know that an oxygen are both single elements. But once they are combined, it becomes a compound. When 2 hydrogens combine with an oxygen, it becomes a compound. But when you single them out, they are single elements. Right? So this kind of correlates to what we were talking about earlier. Does Dr. Sebi refer to the first 102 elements on the periodic table, or was he referring to a combination of elements, single minerals, and compound minerals? Let me repeat that. Does Sebi refer to the first 102 elements on the periodic table when he talks about 102 minerals, or he was referring to a combination of elements, single minerals, and compound minerals? There are 118 elements listed on the periodic table, but not all occur naturally, right? Only 1 through 92 elements are naturally occurring, except 43, technetium, and 61, promethium. 43 and 61 43 and 61 have short half-life. Thus, why they are not found naturally on Earth. Okay, so these two are not found naturally on Earth. 43 has been detected in stars. What was 43? Technetium has been detected in stars. All elements past 92. All elements past 92. Uranium haven't been found on Earth and are made in the lab. Are made in the lab. What do we know about lab products? To support the idea that Sebi referred to single element when he spoke about 102 minerals, look at the nutrient breakdown of food. You can find mineral breakdowns. Mineral breakdowns are provided for many foods. Mineral breakdowns are provided for many foods, and the mineral contents always consist. The mineral contents always consist. So when we look at mineral breakdowns of foods, the mineral contents always consist. What do the mineral contents always consist of when we're looking at the breakdowns of foods? Right? Mineral breakdowns are provided for many foods, okay? So what do the minerals contents always consist of when we look at the nutrient breakdowns of foods? When we're looking at the mineral contents of foods, right? What do the mineral contents always consist of? Elements like magnesium, phosphorus, copper, iron, calcium, etc. There are 118 elements listed on the periodic table, but not all of them are naturally occurring, and those are made in the lab. The ones that are not naturally occurring are made in the lab. That's really important to know, right? Why is this really important? Because the periodic table is presented to you, right? And it can be confusing to people when they see the amount of elements on the periodic table. Okay. The body is made up of 102 minerals. There are 118 elements listed on the periodic table, but not all occur naturally. Only 1 through 92 elements are naturally occurring, except 43 and 61, technetium and promethium. These have short half-lives. Thus, why they are not found naturally. Naturally on Earth. Okay. So now we know that acids can be found in the body. Sure. We know that it can be that the body acids in the human body include hydrochloric acid and gastric juices, uric acid in urine, and lactic acid in muscles. We know bases or alkaline taste bitter. Okay. How many of you heard bitters being good for you? Okay. So what does this say about bases? Bases taste bitter, but bitters are good for you. Okay. Right? Bitters are good for you. There are benefits to drinking bitters, right? Bitters. What do we know that's bitter? We know that some teas or some herbs are bitter in taste, like ginger, for example. Ginger can be considered bitter, but ginger is really good for you. Natural ginger, of course. Um, Ginger is small; it's not big. So, uh, when you're buying ginger, you wanna try to buy ginger that's small, right? Ginger grows naturally. Ginger is naturally occurring. In other words, ginger is naturally occurring, and when you find ginger, you find that it is small. You find that ginger is small, right? And not big. So be mindful what type of ginger you buy, because we know that ginger is naturally occurring and it is small. It is small. So ginger is considered to be bitter. So what does that tell us? That tells us that ginger is alkaline. You see how this starts to add up. So we have a pH. We got a pH, right? 0 to 14, 7 being neutral. Anything to the right of 7, be my nose. Anything to the right of 7, anything to the right of 7, alkaline. Anything to the left of 7 is acidic. 7 being neutral, right? 0 to 14. 7 being neutral. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Anything to the left of 7 is acidic. Anything to the right of 7 is alkaline. So we know that from 7 onward is alkaline. So we know that ginger is alkaline. Ginger is bitter, right? We just said that. And ginger is really good for you. So what are some other alkaline? What other foods can we find in the alkaline side of the pH scale, and what other foods can we find on the acid side of the pH scale? Well, we know that human blood is slightly alkaline. Okay, what it slightly is alkaline. We know that blood is alkaline. So if we know that our blood is alkaline, where is it gonna fall? What side of the pH scale is human blood going to fall under? To the left of 7 or to the right of 7? You know that alkalinity is to the right of 7. So human blood is to the right of 7. 7 being neutral. So human blood to the right of 7, right? Okay, so what did we say about milk? Milk is acidic. So milk is to the left of 7, right? Being acidic. Let's name some alkaline foods. What are some alkaline foods that fall to the right of 7 in the pH scale? Chelines are actually considered to be alkaline because they're alkalizing. People tend to think that limes and lemons are acidic. Lemons are acidic, and limes could also be considered acidic because when people taste them, they get what did we say? People tend to think that limes and lemons are acidic, and they may taste sour, but it doesn't mean. And it might seem. We said that alkaline may be bitter and slippery. May feel slippery. And acid is sour and is often corrosive. Okay, so we tend to think that lemons and limes are sour, and so is often corrosive. Let me tell you, key limes are actually alkalizing to the body. Okay, lemons are acidic. Okay, key limes, seeded key limes are alkalizing to the body, right? They may be acidic in their natural state, but as soon as the body, soon as you consume, soon as you drink, soon as the key lime is soon as the body receives that key lime, that sour key lime, it actually becomes alkalizing. It turns alkaline in the body. So I hope this this sheds some light on that, because we tend to think that limes and lemons are acidic to the body, when key limes are actually alkalizing in the body. So it might be acid in its natural state or taste sour in its natural state, but in the body, it becomes alkalizing. It alkalizes the body. Key limes are really good for you, in other words. Lemons, on the other hand, are more corrosive. Why would they be more corrosive? Why are key limes not corrosive? Because key limes are naturally occurring on Earth. Lemons, on the other hand, are hybrid. Lemons aren't naturally occurring on Earth. Without the help of man, lemons, if I'm not mistaken, can't reproduce. Um, although if you have some in the morning, if you have some when you rise, lemon juice can actually help get the excess mucus from your body, from your lungs, when you get up, when you rise. But lemons are considered to be acidic. Key limes, on the other hand, because they are naturally occurring, they are alkaline and alkalizing for your body. They're alkalizing for your body, right? So I like key limes. I stay away from lemons. They too sour. It's not that they sour, it's just they just they seem they taste too sour. You know, they don't taste like key limes. They real like sour and like pungent. That's if that's the proper word, pungent. And to me, it's more corrosive than a key lime. So we know that milk is acidic. So it's on the left side of the pH, 7 being neutral, And we know that key limes are alkalizing when consumed by the body, right? It might be acidic in its natural state, but when consumed, or when we ingest, when we drink this key lime juice, it's actually alkalizing to the body, to the blood, right? Everything we consume, our body's trying to make new blood out of it. So what kind of foods are you eating? Are you eating dead foods? Are you eating food? Are you eating uh live food? You want to eat foods that are alive, like fruits and vegetables, right? They're alive. You don't what kind of food makes for good blood? Chlorophyll can be a good blood replacement. They say I read that in World War II, chlorophyll was actually used as a blood replacement for those who were losing copious amounts of blood, because chlorophyll is identical or almost identical to the structure, to the molecular structure of blood, the red blood cell. If you look at a red blood cell and you compare it to a chlorophyll, if you compare the two structures, right, you will see that they're identical. The only difference is slightly different. It's a slight difference. But notice how they were using chlorophyll in World War II, right, as a blood replacement for those who were losing copious amounts of blood. Why you think that is? You think chlorophyll would be mentioned a lot more than it is, right? So I'm bringing that up, chlorophyll up, because it's really important. I just had some green juice just a while ago, right? Just had some green juice just a while ago. I love green juice. I stay drinking green juice because I know how important it is. I know how important it is, right? I just told you it's a blood replacement. So the more chlorophyll you drink, the more green juice you drink, the more blood, the more blood rich in oxygen you will have, right? What do we know about blood? What do we know about the red blood cell? We know that the red blood cell contains hemoglobin. The protein hemoglobin, being iron and oxygen, is found within the blood, within the red blood cell. Iron carries the oxygen to the brain and throughout the entire body. Okay, so when we lack in oxygen, we also lack in iron, because we know that oxygen, we know that red blood cells carry oxygen. Red blood cells carry oxygen to the brain and to our body, to our entire body. to the trillions and billions of cells in our body, right? We know that chlorophyll creates new blood. If you're low in oxygen and you're low in iron, we know that chlorophyll produces new blood. What is found in, we know chlorophyll produces red blood cells. What's found within the red blood cells of the body? Oxygen and iron. So what are we drinking, or what are we creating when we drink chlorophyll, when we eat plants, fruits, vegetables? What are we creating? We're creating new blood. We just mentioned the body is trying to make new blood, trying to create new blood from the foods that you eat. So that means we should be eating plants, vegetables, fruits, right? Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a green pigment found in plants. Okay. So that's really important. That's really important. I hope this doesn't go over your heads. We know that the pH scale is really important, because that's how we're going to identify what foods fall under fall. That's how we're going to identify what foods we should be eating. What kind of food should we be eating? Should we be eating foods on the left side of the pH scale, or should we be eating foods on the right side of the pH scale? If you said to the right side of the pH scale, you're right. We should be eating alkaline foods. We should not be eating acidic foods to the left of the pH scale. That's really important, because why is this important? Human blood is alkaline. So if our blood is alkaline, what does that tell you? That means that we need to keep our blood on that alkaline level. What's gonna make that blood go down from its alkaline level? What do you think is gonna make that blood go from an alkaline state to acidic state? To the left of 7 being neutral, to the left of 7 being acidic, to the right of 7 being alkaline. What's it gonna make your blood go from an alkaline state to an acidic state? The only thing that could make your blood go from fall from its homeostasis, from its equilibrium, is acidic food. So whatever you give your body, your blood, in return, what do we say about what do we say about the blood? We said that the red blood cell carries oxygen and iron. Hemoglobin, the protein found, we don't really like to use that word. Hemoglobin found in the red blood cell, heme being iron, oxygen being oxygen, globin being oxygen, Heme being iron, globin being oxygen, hemoglobin is found in red blood cells. Okay, and what causes a red blood cell to break into a sickle, a crescent shape? What causes a red blood cell to break into a sickle, crescent shape? Healthy red blood cell is round. Acid will cause the red blood cell to break into a sickle. Why is this? Acid eats away eats away at the red blood cell, and oxygen and iron escapes. Okay, so what does this tell us? If oxygen and iron escapes out of the red blood cell, as soon as the mucus begins to eat up the red blood cell, we know that oxygen and iron are escaping, leading you to what? What is the lack of iron? Anemia. Okay? So what does this say? No iron, no oxygen means no blood, no red blood cell. Without iron and oxygen, the hemoglobin keeping that red blood cell together. Without those two, there's no red blood cell, there's no blood, there's no oxygen to the brain and to the body. There's no iron there's no iron, right? There's anemia. The most severe case of anemia, sickle cell, right? So what is anemia, and what is sickle cell anemia? They're both anemias. Okay. Sickle cell anemia is just the most serious case, right? The deprivation of iron and oxygen is what's taking place in the body. So what have we learned thus far? We learned a lot. I hope none of this is going over your head. So what does this say about acidic? And what does this say about the foods and they might not even be they don't have to be foods. What does this say about anything that falls to the left of the pH scale? 7 being neutral, everything to the left of the pH scale. What does this say about that? Those things should not be ingested. Maybe those things, what does it say? That tells us that the acidic foods that we are eating are actually eating away at our red blood cells, and it's taking our oxygen and our iron levels from us. So it's leaving you depleted of your oxygen and your iron levels, leaving you tired, leaving you exhausted with no energy. You can't think straight. Your head hurts. What else? What else? You feel pain. There's no oxygen. There's no oxygen going to the brain. There's no oxygen going to your cells in your body. So you feel pain. You feel like your pressure is up. There's no oxygen. There's no oxygen going to your cells. Why? Because the acid, the mucus is acid. Acid is mucus. Milk is acid. Turns to mucus. Right? Vinegar, acid. Starch, acid. Mucus. Sugar, acid. Mucus. Meat, acid. Mucus. Dairy, acid. Mucus. You catching on? So there seems to be a pattern with this. Every time we seem to consume acid foods or acid from the pH scale being to the left of 7, it seems to be creating blockages. Why do I say blockages? I say blockages for a reason, because we know that the more serious case of anemia being sickle cell anemia, this seems to be hurting a lot of our women in our community, especially the Black women, right? Everybody, a large percentage of our community is anemic. Why is this? Because we don't know where to get the right type of iron. The right type of iron is iron fluorine, not iron oxide. We mentioned this in another video already. Iron oxide comes from the rock. They make bridges out of iron oxide. Iron oxide will bind you and cause astringency in the intestines, keeping you from using the restroom. This is the type of iron we want to stay away from, right? The type of iron you want is iron fluorine, the iron found in plants. The iron found in plants, right? There's two types of forms. There's two forms of iron on the planet. It's iron fluorine, iron oxide. Don't forget that. The iron oxide is the iron found in rocks. The type of iron you want is found in plants that's naturally occurring. Iron oxide will bind you and cause astringency. They make bridges out of iron. So why don't you want to take that? Because you want to take foods, you want to eat foods that are naturally occurring, that are alkaline, that's going to keep your alkaline, your blood, the human blood being alkaline. You want to keep that at an alkaline level, right? This is really important. Blockages. Why did I say blockages? Because the more serious case of anemia being sickle cell, I hope this doesn't go over your head, is the red blood cell, the healthy red blood cell, oxygen and iron have escaped. The red blood cell has turned to a sickle because of the mucus, the acid being the mucus created from acid forming foods have eaten away at your red blood cell, and now your oxygen and your iron levels have escaped, causing a sickle cell like a crescent of a moon. These start to pile up on top of each other and start to create blockages. There's no healthy red blood cells. There's only crescent shaped red blood cells that have no oxygen and no iron in them. So these can't pass throughout your arteries and veins like they're supposed to. They start to clog up, pile up on top of each other like that. You know what I mean? So that starts to happen, and that causes blockages. right? What does this mean? So when those when that healthy red blood cell when the oxygen and iron of that healthy red blood cell have escaped the red blood cell, it leaves you depleted. It leaves you feeling weak. Leaves you feeling weak. We can't survive without oxygen. You can survive up to so long without food and water, but you can't survive no more than 5 minutes without oxygen, right? We could survive so long without water and food, but without oxygen, you can't survive no more than 5 minutes without oxygen. So why is this important? The red blood cells carry the oxygen and iron. This is important. Our red blood cells are being depleted of their oxygen and iron from the foods that we eat, from these acidic foods that we eat, the mucus that is acidic. Okay, that mucus is eating away at our red blood cells and is robbing us of our oxygen and our iron. Iron is found two forms on the planet: iron fluorine, iron oxide. We want to drink foods, want to eat foods that are high in iron, fluorine, not iron oxide. That means that our foods, our iron has to come from plants. This is important. This is really important. Remove the mucus and then you will get more oxygen. Remove the mucus, remove the acid foods from your nutritional, from your diet. We don't really like to use the word diet, right? Remove these foods, remove the mucus from the cells, from the red blood cells. The production of new red blood cells rich in oxygen and iron from the chlorophyll that we drink is going to boost your oxygen and your iron levels, right? You wouldn't be sick if your iron levels were up to par, right? If your iron levels were high. The human blood is alkaline, so that means that we need to stay in an alkaline. We need to stay in the alkaline level. So let's start to eat and drink more foods that are on the alkaline side of the pH scale, which is to the right of 7 being neutral. Anything to the right of 7 is alkaline. Anything to the left of 7 is acid. We know key limes. We said key limes were good for you. They're alkalizing to the body, right? They're not acidic. Lemons are more acidic than key limes because key limes are naturally occurring, and lemons. We already said what they considered to be, right? We want to eat foods that are on the right side of the pH scale, not to the left of the pH scale. Foods that are alkaline will alkalize your body and keep your blood alkaline, right? That's how you're gonna stay. That's how you're gonna feel good. That's how you're gonna have energy. That's how you're gonna have oxygen going to your brain and throughout your body. Our cells need oxygen. Okay, we breathe in oxygen. We breathe out carbon dioxide. Okay, the plants breathe in the carbon dioxide that we breathe out, and then they breathe out oxygen that we breathe in. Right? That's really important. So plants, trees, they are important. We want to plant more trees, right? We want to breathe deeply. We want to breathe deeply. We want to go for walks. We want to be around plants. Why? Because plants, trees, they give off oxygen. They give us oxygen so that we can breathe. It's important. It's just as important as eating the right foods that's going to give us that oxygen and that iron that we need. Iron is the spark plug of the human body. Okay? Iron will fire your body up. Okay? Iron will fire your body up. Iron is the spark plug of the human body. Okay? The body is electric. The body is electric. I'm going to tell you why it's electric. They like to talk about sodium and potassium, right, within the neurons, and when you excite these neurons, is what causes a muscle contraction. So for me to be able to move my eyes and move my hands, this electricity taking place throughout the neurons of the cells, right? So you have sodium and you have potassium going in and out of the cell. Sodium being more if I'm not mistaken, I think it's potassium. It's more potassium on the inside and more sodium on the outside, right? And so these electrical impulses that happen throughout the day, moving your eyes, moving your hands, there's electricity taking place. The body is electric, okay? So what do you give an electric body? Electric food. Alkaline food is electric. Electric food is alkaline food. Alkaline food is electric. Okay, the body is electric, so you need to give it alkaline food. You need to give it electric food. Food that is alive, not dead food. You don't want to be eating any dead animals. Excuse me, you don't want to be eating any dead food. You want to be eating food that's alive, right? This is important because being that the body is electric, in order for there to be uh in order for there to be a chemical affinity, there has to be simulation, okay, taking place within the body. When you give alkaline food, electric food to an electric body, there's chemical affinity. Right? An electric body needs electric food, alkaline food. There's chemical affinity when you give alkaline food to an electric body. When you give electric food to an electric body, there's chemical affinity. Okay? When you give acid food to an alkaline body, that's going to create blockages in the blood, because we know that sickle cell, the deprivation of iron and oxygen, where a healthy red blood cell has turned to a sickle cell shape. sickle cell, sickle like shape, crescent shape, right? Like so. Healthy red blood cell, sickle cell, red blood cell. Oxygen and iron have escaped because of the mucus, because of the acidic foods, right, family? So this is really important. Uh, we know that in an engine you find copper and carbon, and that's what makes a car run. Okay, same like an engine. Our brain, the cerebral cortex, and the pineal gland, they create this friction, rubbing against each other, creating this friction, creating electricity, creating a spark, allowing you to move, allowing you to speak, right? Copper and carbon. The cerebral cortex. Where's the cerebral cortex? It's in the central nervous system. Where's the central nervous system? It's the brain and the spinal cord, right? The cerebral cortex is found in the brain. It's copper. Its mineral is copper. The pineal gland is carbon. The pineal gland is carbon, right? So when the pineal gland rubs against the cerebral cortex, being copper, the pineal gland being carbon, when these two rub against each other, it creates a spark, electricity. Okay, that's what's allowing me to move right now. That's what's moving. That's what's allowing me to move my mouth right now, my eyes, right? The copper and carbon in the brain. Same way a car. If you find in the car you find that there's copper and carbon, right, rubbing against each other. That's what's causing the car to move, right? That's really important. That's really important. So minerals, let's go back to minerals. So when we talk about minerals, the body being 102 minerals, I'm about to cut this video short here pretty soon because I just wanted to touch on a few things. I'm doing this for myself and for people out there, for like-minded individuals who want to know more about this and this alkaline lifestyle, right? So if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and hit that subscribe, right? If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and hit that subscribe so we can get some more views on this. Make sure to hit that like and hit that subscribe, right? If you want to know more about this alkaline lifestyle, this is not a diet, it's a lifestyle, right? Right? So if you want to know more, make sure to hit that like and hit that subscribe. I really enjoy this conversation about acids and bases, or acids and alkalinity, acidity and alkalinity, right? Let's not confuse the people. Let's let's uh let's make it, let's break it down to where we can receive this information and this affirmation how we should be receiving it. let's not make it difficult to understand and understand what we're talking about here. When we're trying to change words, it's really just there. It really just to confuse people, and we're not trying to confuse people. We want people to be healthy. We want people. We want to bring healing to people. We want to bring healing to you, right? So we know key limes are good, right? So we wanna stick to foods there on the right side of the pH scale. 7 being neutral, anything to the right is 7 as alkaline, anything to the left is 7 as acidity. We know that acidic acid foods turn to mucus, and that mucus is acidic to our cells, to the mucous membrane, right? We know that mucus eats at the red blood cell, right? Of our healthy red blood cells. We want healthy red blood cells filled with iron and oxygen, right? So one way we're gonna do this, one way we're gonna keep our iron and oxygen levels up is by drinking a lot of green juice, eating a lot of fruits and vegetables with chlorophyll, right? That chlorophyll is really important. It's really important. Iron is really important. Iron fluorine, right? The right kind of iron is really important. The right kind of iron is really important. We know that the cells of the red blood cell, we know red blood cells made up of iron and oxygen. We know chlorophyll creates new blood, therefore creating more oxygen, more iron and oxygen in our blood. This is important, right? So with that being said, and let's not forget calcium. Let's not forget our blood. No, let's not forget our bones. The mineral of our bones is calcium. Okay. We mentioned copper and carbon minerals in our brain, right? That's really important. Excuse me. Our lungs, sulfur, right? So I don't want to make this video any longer than it has to be. I will be working on putting out another video. If you want to know more about I should probably make a video entirely about alkaline foods and acidic foods. I just want to shed some light to the pH scale, right? And how it's important. I wanted to bring that up. pH scale is really important because that's how we're gonna know what alkaline foods to eat and what acid foods to stay away from. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed this video, family. It's your boy Alkaline Sunny back with another live. And if you want more videos like this, make sure to hit that like and hit that subscribe. If you're new to the channel, right? And let's keep this going, right? I'm going to be making some more videos. So if you like this video, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, so it can really boost the algorithm and we can really get some more views on this, right? So with that being said, peace, family. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's doing well. Out.